Hello to everyone. I'm really happy to have you here today. This is the next episode of AdTech Woman Power by Blasto, full-scale programmatic ecosystem. And we have our amazing guest today, Julia Linehan. She is CEO of B2B PR agency called The Digital Voice. And also she has founded a lot of really important women initiatives, something like Digital Leading Ladies, S.P.I.L.L, and Women in Cons. So, Julia, happy to have you here today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on. Lovely to meet you, and also brilliant to be on here as well. So thank you.
Yeah, I think it will be an amazing conversation, and I'm really glad to show your best to actually ask you certain questions about your industry, about working in this industry, some actually do's and don'ts. So let me start from the first question that is related to your experience. You built your reputation about being the voice of AdTech, but voices are often shaped by bad moments or moments of doubt. So what was the most uncomfortable professional failure or misstep in your career that fundamentally changed how you lead and perceive brand building today?
So it's a really interesting question, because so much of people often think failure is a bad thing, but it's the best thing because it helps, as you said, shape where you go forward and you learn from it. My biggest one was probably about 18 years ago when I took on a role at an agency. And I've always been, my 31 years in the industry, a lot of it has been on the sell side, media owner side, publisher side. I'm a salesperson at heart. But this role in this agency said, I know the role has never existed before. You've never done it before. It'll be fine. About 6 weeks in, we both knew that it just wasn't the right fit. When you're working on an agency side, to a large extent, you have to be very much tell the client what they want to hear, whereas my view is tell the client what they should actually do. Let me impart our knowledge. And also, when you're a salesperson, it's very hard to go back and be on the buy side and try something different. And I think you have to, it didn't work. And I very quickly left that role and moved back into, I think I then went to be a digital director at a B2B publishing house. And it was amazing. And it was back to what I knew and loved. And you have to accept your strengths. You have to accept and understand your suitability to a role and be willing to go, that didn't work, pivot. It is that squiggly career. Luckily, most of my career hasn't been squiggly. It's been stay where I know and love. I built a company based upon what I know and love. So that pivotal moment, trying to go down a route that square peg, round hole. I think that's the phrase. Just sometimes accept it, move on, learn from it.
I think you're really telling someone will be afraid of, because people really, when we work with agencies, you have to prepare something like they wanted to hear from us. So I think it's really an honest and right idea to tell them actually what is right for them.
What is right for them, not what they want to hear. I think, I'm known that one of my nicknames is the mouth of media, and I've never been shy of saying what I think. And I think in running the digital voice, we have to sometimes say to client partners what they don't want to hear. We have to disagree. We have to challenge them. And you have to have the strength of your own convictions of going, I promise you that this is the right way. It may be different to what you think. It may be different to what your board wants to do, but we have to be bullish and we have to be honest and say it.
I'm sure that it can be difficult, and also talking about operational part of the work in your day-to-day life and work with AdTech founders and leadership teams. What's actually the most common practical mistakes that you see they make when trying to build the brand? I think this one can be very useful for our audience.
So some of the biggest blockers is the founder themselves within an ad tech company. Part of the reason is I'm a founder too, and I know this from what I did. I held the reins. I wanted to be involved in every decision. I kind of kept everything close, and I didn't allow my team to flourish, and I brought them on as experts, but I thought I was helping by I can be part of every conversation. But actually, you become an incredible blocker to it, and as well as not letting your team flourish. We find the same with ad tech founders. They have built it's their baby. They know it, they love it, they want to be a part of every single thing, but they're so close to it that trying to get them to see that, say, for example, when you're doing PR, you can't be self-serving. You can't shout about how brilliant your product is. You've got to talk about the challenge it's solving without saying that you're the solution. The founder wants to go, look at, well, our product does all this. And you have to kind of go, no, you're being a blocker now. Or they want to approve every single piece of content that goes out. Or they want to have an involvement in every single activation or output. And often I think that can be a blocker. So sometimes founders, you've got to know when to let go. You've got to know when to let your team, who you brought on as experts, do their thing.
Yeah, totally agree. I think founders always like to actually present their product as the most important one, the solution to every problem. But actually, they have to talk about the needs and the problems of the audience and how it can be solved. So actually, I think there is sometimes a gap. But I'm really happy that you have your agency and you help to actually avoid these problems. Actually, we are talking about PR industry and also AdTech. As we know, tech brands operate in really difficult and complex market. Actually, I think one of the most skeptical in the world. So from your experience, what are the biggest challenges that tech companies face when they build public trust and long-term credibility? Maybe you can provide 3 do's and don'ts that can brands and founders implement in their future.
Certainly. Let's go with the do's then. So this is the do's. I would go number 1, kiss it. And that means keep it short and simple. AdTech, it's complex. That's why actually we created AdTech Juice, because that's just a university educational tool and site, because it is complex. And we're trying to say, first things first, imagine you're trying to explain what AdTech does to a 5-year-old or an 85-year-old. Try and keep it short and simple. We know it's complex, but that's not actually the message you need to get across. It's almost like, this is the problem. This is the problem the industry is facing. We do clever stuff. You don't need to know how we do it. And here's the results when you do implement it. Keep it short and simple. So that's number 1. Number 2, PR is not self-serving. That's called marketing. So when you're trying to do a thought leadership piece or a byline, or you're doing an interview with a journalist, or you're doing a press release, think about what you're trying to, you must harness in on the things that the press does want to publish or that your audience does want to read. If you want to just talk about how clever your product is or how clever you are and name drop yourself, that's called marketing. So be very clear. My do for number 2 is differentiate between PR and marketing. They are different. And number 3, I think I've said it probably 3 times because it is the most important thing. Be absolutely clear on the challenge you solve. Think about your target audience. What are they experiencing that is a challenge or is an issue for them that by default you happen to solve? But laser focus in on that challenge, because that's the bit that's going to help your sales team. It's going to help your PR message. It's going to help you on LinkedIn. It's going to help you with the press as well. That's the bit to focus in on. So those are my 3 do's. Shall I go straight into my don'ts?
I think these tips are amazing. Actually, I love that you said about the challenge that people must actually do for their audience and to solve it.
Yeah, I mean, AdTech is incredibly brilliant at doing what it's meant to do, which is enable efficiencies, deliver higher performance. It's all those things and more. And that's the bit you've got to harness in on. But let's look at the don'ts. So my don'ts can be for any industry, but I think it's quite apparent sometimes in our industry, within AdTech, that these are issues. So don't be a late payer. We know at the moment that there's a lot of payment issues. We know that there's this stranglehold on businesses with 90-day plus payment terms. Cash flow kills business. So wherever you are in the chain, please don't be late payers. And if you are struggling and your business is at risk because of that stranglehold that cash flow will have on you, know there are companies out there that can solve that. Don't let that be the reason that you're ending up closing business. Companies like Reving are doing great stuff in that for late payments solutions, which is a problem with our industry. So don't be a late payer, number one. Number two, do deliver on your promises, because the part of what I mentioned just now is about AdTech is there to provide efficiencies and also to show performance. It's about helping them, companies, brands or agencies or whatever you serve, whether it be the publisher side, the buy side or the sell side. You're there to solve a challenge, prove that you do, deliver strong results, show that you deliver a strong return on investment. The AdTech companies that will thrive are those that actually perform and make money for other companies, etc., or make efficiencies. So I'd say that's number two. Number three, it's one of my pet hates, ghosting. Oh, it's actually a killer within so many. Poor inbox management, slow responses. I always think, and we make our team at the Digital Voice do inbox 0 daily. We also have rules that you have to respond to emails. If it comes in the morning, you respond by lunchtime. If it comes in the afternoon, you respond before you go. Even if it's an acknowledgement of coming back, it's just so important. I do not ghost people unless they're spam and it's we can get you 5 to 10 leads. That's probably causing a little bit of a pickle for a lot of people. But other than that, actual proper emails or reach outs that you're receiving, have the foresight and politeness to respond. Do not ghost. And certainly if you're engaging, because I think as well AdTech companies are finding this, that the leads time in the pipeline and people making decisions, unfortunately at the moment, is quite slow. So if you are on the end of holding the budgets, it's the best thing to do is not ghost, just update them on the moving beast that is a timeline. One of my pet hates. That's my third don't.
I loved them really much, and I think about the first one that you mentioned. Every good marketing PR is built on actually business doing great their job and building their job on the trust and actually making some great decisions and actually to be able to proceed with their actions. Yes. So actually we are talking today also about women leadership, and as we know, and I mentioned in the beginning, you've co-founded multiple communities like Digital Leading Ladies, S.P.I.L.L, and Women in Cans. So what has actually shifted in the last few years in terms of how women show up, they lead and use communities in AdTech?
Okay, so let's look at how we've come. And I'd say 100% I believe we're getting there. I'm an eternal optimist anyway. But if we look at things like, say, the awards for the Wires, so many women are winning that. I think out the last 5-10 years, it's a lot of incredibly brilliant women that are up there winning. The other thing to note is I on Legends of AdTech podcasts that I do, I had the brilliant Layla Saif Hassan, who's the Chief Data Officer at Digitas on. And she made the really important point that it's important for other women to see you up there in the role that you aspire to. So the more women we have in leadership roles, the easier it is for other women to see that they can push themselves forward, that there is no barrier. I've always been in that belief. If there was a glass ceiling, I've never seen it. I just smashed through it. I didn't know it existed, because if I want something, if I wanted to get ahead, as I've done in my 31 years, I just went for it. I kind of didn't feel that I've ever been held back by being a woman. In fact, in the last few years, I think the scale of women's community groups, the Women in Programmatic Network, of course, my beloved Digital Leading Ladies, the Women in Can groups that I look after as well with other co-founders. These are thousands of women in these community groups. And the stuff like in Digital Leading Ladies, we have a sisterhood support. So if you're posting on LinkedIn and it's important to you, you get cheerleading behind it to kickstart that algorithm. And there's so much community led. And I think that we're very blessed as women that we tend to have these strong communities. And I hope the same for men, because I feel that it's just as important for men to feel that community around them. Vitally important for men and for women. So I think we're leading the way on that, and I hope that men also follow and see the value in it. I've no doubt, like women, I think we hit 1,000 women in the Women in Can group It was just amazing. And it's an incredible group that's now into its third year. So all of these things are showing real value. And I think the only thing I would say is that, yes, there might be still fewer female founders. Unfortunately, in ad tech, there tends to be. The ones that are doing it you can really shine a light on, can't you? You can see them and you can at least see that they are there. And I think that's just as important, to have that vision ahead of you to go, it's possible. I can see where I want to go.
Yeah, I think this promise that actually, and the idea that you can become one day this woman is really inspiring. And also I think the really important stuff is in being present, is in being really active in your social media to actually show your path, your wins. Because I think a lot of women are afraid to do it, and maybe a lot of men also afraid. So
we're doing, actually, because on International Women's Day, we're doing it as a Native Advertising Institute Jellyfish and the Digital Voice. It's hosting an event on hype women. It's all about give to gain, but it's actually about how you can hype yourself and how you hype others. And Suze Chaplin, who's the founder of ESB Connect, is then looking at doing, it's kind of this hashtag hype women, and doing almost like a a chainmail effect of how can you celebrate other women. You've got to think about another woman that you'd like to hype, promote them on your LinkedIn, hashtag hype women, and on it goes. That person has to do the same, chainmail effect, that kind of impact. But I've got to be honest as well, the work starts with you. I have the title, The Voice, the digital voice is about amplification. Your voice is something that you should be proud of, that you need to know your voice is important. Get it heard, be bold, be brave, be you, be willing to shout a little bit louder. Certainly don't shy away, and then use it to celebrate others.
Sounds like a manifest. I really like that. And also let's close it with a really interesting question about actually talking a little bit about dreams. So if there were no constraints about budget or logistics, what is the one brand or industry defining event you still dream of building, or you plan to build?
It's so hard. There's lots of events that I have in my brain. I mean, one of them came out last year with Fired Up that we did with Team Revving, and it was brilliant. It was like, got the audience really on their feet, and it was called Feet and Flames and stuff like that. And I love coming up with more and more engaging and over the top event ideas. But I think what I would say is, I could think of a software. I'm going to say this and I'm going to get inundated with people going, yeah, we can do that. One of the biggest problems now with amplification, that's what we call ourselves, we're an amplification agency, is there's so many touch points across different platforms. And especially because LinkedIn is one of our amplification channels, but LinkedIn gatekeeps the data that you can only access the analytics through LinkedIn. That's not helpful when we use Heyorka and Muckrack, and we use many other platforms to track the overall amplification performance, because LinkedIn doesn't allow you to kind of feed into this. So I would say if I had the scope, the brain power and the skills, I'd have an amplification tool that tracks everything.
Wow. It sounds that everybody needs this tool.
Yeah.
Just to see the umbrella under every communication that you did and every marketing activity. So I really hope that you will have this opportunity and maybe the right team also to launch it. We will be
definitely. I might do. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. It's often when I think about something, I'm one of those people that have no patience. I'm like, right, I've got an idea, let's just do it. So watch this space. That's coming out soon. The digital voice amplification tracking tool.
I really liked your idea, and also I must say that it was amazing to have this conversation with you today, and you're amazing, have amazing path, and also it was interesting to hear some useful tips and some personal stories from you. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. My pleasure to be on here. Thank you so much.